Tonight I was all about being normal, having a good time, doing our thing. But with WWDC around the corner, the question comes, and the question is, what is in store for WWDC 2023? All your questions and answers will be revealed tonight on the live episode of Technoid. So don't go anywhere because Technoid starts right now. Well, I hope you guys like those cringy little intros because those are not stopping anytime soon. Your boy is back from Miami, back live in the flesh. What is good, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to another live episode of Technoid. Anyway, guys, came back a winner. This man went into retirement, so I'm taking the vacant title. I'm the real BMF. But anyway, what's good, everybody? What's good? Good to be back live with all of you. It's good to be back together as one whole nation. It is good to be back all together. And I am going to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I miss being live. I miss doing those cringy intros. I miss it all. So tonight, we're just going to celebrate. We're going to put this BMF boy down. And we are going to start the show. We are not going to waste any time. We're just going to get right to it. So, originally, when we were doing this episode, we had Sneed Mobile Tech coming on. But unfortunately, due to some last-minute issues, he could not make it tonight. However, we do have a returning number one, the BMF, the real BMF of the audio industry, the greatest of all time when it comes to reviews, my one and only true audiophile friend, my man, of course, Digital Slang. What's good, man? Welcome back.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
It's good to see you again. It's good to be back with you as always. Anyway, guys, we're going to queue up everything. We're just going to make everything a little bit easier because I know these lights are flashing in the background. Let's go for something a little more setting the mood, the more Apple mood. There we go. I think that sets an Apple mood, kind of. But anyway, let's get right to it. Before we start the episode, as you guys know, we got to get these out of the way, and then I'll take a look at the live chat, see who we've got tonight. But anyway, number one, follow me on Twitter at Technoid12 so you can stay up to date with the latest in the channel, the news, everything on Twitter. Follow me at Technoid12. Number two, I want to give a quick shout out to our affiliate partners of the show. I want to thank them for their continued support. First up, we have Rogue Energy. I want to thank Rogue for being a part of the show. They just launched a brand new flavor, ladies and gentlemen. It is called Tiger Blood. Not the most appealing thing when you say it out loud, but the flavor is delicious. It is strawberry, coconut, watermelon. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Head on over to Rogue Energy. Use a promo code Technoid. Also want to give a shout out to Slate Chocolate Milk, the best protein-packed chocolate milk money will buy you. Most importantly, lactose-free, zero added sugar. and only 100 calories. Head on over to slatemilk.com, use the promo code Technoid. And lastly, the most recent addition to the Technoid show, Super X, the best number one source to get your workout gear. I'm rocking one of their tees tonight. Head on over to superx.co, use the promo code as you see to help save yourself some money. Now we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So, what's good, Digi? How you been, man?
I'm all right, bro. Another day, like we talked about a minute ago, just another Sunday.
It's another Sunday, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you checking in. I appreciate you being here tonight. We got a great show planned, and most importantly, we're going to get right to it now. So, before we talk about the pending WWDC that is upon us, and I'm sure you know what we're going to talk about. I think everybody knows the number one thing. Got to get this one out of the way. So, over the week, about a few days ago, Soundcore, and this is why I wanted to bring you on to kind of talk with this, because this is right up our territory. I am sure, as you know, they are releasing a brand new speaker just in time for the summer. But not exactly an outdoor speaker, but it's also technically not saying you can't use it outdoors. I'm, of course, talking about the Motion X600. This is their brand new Bluetooth speaker that is touting hi-fi sound via LDAC, Bluetooth codec if you have an Android. And, of course, it is also good for iOS. If you use spatial audio, you can now use Dolby Atmos, surround sound, all that good stuff. Now, being that I am in the speaker world and some of my most popular videos are speakers, I will, of course, eventually get my hands on this. I wanted to ask you, Digi, did you hear anything about this? What's your thoughts on it? What do you think of it, man? Because I know I got a lot to say, but I'm very curious to hear what you've got to say.
I haven't read too much into it. I've heard about it. I've watched some of the videos about it. I probably will hit up Soundcore to try and get one. I'm sure it's incredible. I mean, Soundcore, if you don't know who Soundcore is, you should learn about them because they're amazing. The earbuds, headphones, speakers, their last speaker was incredible. The Motion Boom Plus, like they just drop product after product and each one is fantastic.
You know, that's the best way I can describe it with Soundcore. They just make some excellent quality products. And I am actually very interested in this speaker because of two things. Number one, this was actually something that I talked about in one of my reviews. I would have loved to have seen them include high-res audio support in the form of LDAC for their Bluetooth speakers, being even if it's a party speaker. But seeing as they are going this route, whether it be wired or wireless, is a great, great option. And I also really like the design. It reminds me of the Motion Boom, but it's also got a more
It's sleeker.
it's a sleeker design.
Yeah, it's nicer.
And from what I'm hearing from the reviews, the whole spatial audio element of the speaker, they say it really does bring everything together. It's one of those few Bluetooth speakers that actually takes advantage of spatial audio with Apple Music. So I'm very interested to see how it sounds because Apple Music with spatial audio is very 50-50 if you don't have Apple products. I don't know if you've compared the difference, but
Well, yeah, you need Apple Pro, but there are a lot of other companies that have spatial audio now that are doing a very good job with it.
absolutely. And I think now that we're seeing companies embrace the whole the spatial audio, I think now we're going to see more products kind of take advantage there. And I actually, tell you the truth, I didn't actually see this. I didn't know that it was actually 50 watts. 50 watts is actually the same as the Soundcore Rave Neos, which actually powers the sound in here whenever I blast some my cringy music. So I'm actually very interested to see how loud and how well the detail is at high volume. It does have a 12-hour battery life. Again, this is just a first impressions. This is
It's
not a
smaller
review.
too than the Motion Boom Plus.
I hear that. Yes, it is
It's
smaller.
not very. I mean, look at it next to the camera. It's not very big.
So I'm very interested. Ooh, that green looks nice. I think if I had to pick a color, I'm probably going to go either green or blue. There's something about it. And I hear it's made of aluminum. So it's actually, there's no plastic on it. Apparently, it's made out of aluminum. And man, look at these lucky
Oh,
SOBs.
there's Antoine.
Look at these lucky SOBs. Look at these people, man. Soundcore, come on now. You know my channel was made off of speaker reviews. If there's anybody that does
Those
speaker.
guys are getting paid though for that.
Oh, they are for sure. Well, me, I've said it before since day one. I got no problem going out, getting them on my own. And that's probably what I'm going to do. But if you're interested to check them out, they do have an early bird special where if you pay $1, you could save $50. The retail price is going to be around $200. But if you act now, you can get $50 off with the promo code. That is actually a very good deal. because 50 bucks off is 50 bucks off and you're only paying $1. It's a very easy way for them to get some cash, but also you save some money in the end. So kind of like a pre-order bonus, but I am definitely interested to see where they go with this because they actually had a soundbar in their lineup a long time ago. I don't think people remember. They had a soundbar. And I heard the soundbar was also an all-in-one soundbar. So will this resurrect it? We'll have to wait and see.
Everything they do is just legit. It's all good.
I can't wait for it. I know me and you are going to make videos with it, and I can't wait to see your video. Just probably hope you're looking forward to seeing me.
I am, of course.
Hey, listen, you're number one for a reason. I'm number two.
I'm not number one. There's plenty of people better than me.
Well, to each they own, but I look up to you as number one, and that's
But
what
thanks,
matters.
man. I appreciate it.
All right, let's move away from Soundcore. I just wanted to cover that real quickly. But the main star of the show, and I think you know, obviously, we've already talked about it, WWDC 2023. Now, WWDC 2023 is right around the corner. We're pretty much almost to May now, so it's going to come around very, very soon. We're almost there. So the main hype for WWDC this year is not the software. As you know, I've been covering it. I've been talking about it. I've been doing everything. Basically, the biggest hype for this year's is, essentially the VR headsets. That is really what the hype is this year. And I want to let you go first because that's the first thing I want to talk about is the VR headsets. Now, the rumors that we were hearing, and we're hearing the reports say that apparently Apple is going to innovate, that beta testers were coming out of it saying that it is unlike anything on the market, that Apple can truly, truly change the game with this kind of technology. I just want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts when you hear from this whole saga with the VR headset? What are your thoughts about VR as a whole, and are you looking forward to this product?
So I love VR. I have the Oculus Quest 2 here. So I'm a big fan of VR and where it's headed. And I'm just a little worried. Apple's VR is going to be extremely expensive. So I'm not looking forward to that. But isn't it going to be more of an augmented reality thing?
Well, the early reports are that the VR is going to combine the two, virtual reality and augmented reality. Essentially, the glass, it was supposed to be. So this is how it all started. The very first iteration of this was Apple Glass, which was supposed to be a glasses system
Correct.
that they were working on. Originally, it was supposed to be sunglasses, prescription lenses, things like that. But then somewhere along the way, during trial and error, they just said, you know what? We're not going to do that. So
Well,
then they
that was a
pivoted.
good move because that would have bombed.
It would have. You look at Google, if anybody remembers what
Yeah, it
Google
was
tried to do.
trash.
It was absolutely, it was so bad. But then they decided, you know what? We're going to dip our heads into the realm of VR and AR. And they decided that they're now going to do something like an Oculus. And the thing that we're hearing now with these reports is that it's going to combine the technology of both your iPhone and also the headsets. Apparently, from what we're hearing, it might just be, it could basically just be a pair of sets that you link up to your iPhone, it links to your Apple accounts, and whatever you're using, it will adapt and just kind of be the main player. So, for example, the rumors were saying that if you connect this to an Apple TV, you could play games, you could use a controller, obviously things you would do with a console. So there is some gaming elements in here. We'll break it down in just a sec. But the main purpose would be for entertainment. That is really the main purpose of these headsets is you could watch movies, videos, and entertainment things, and you could basically be surrounded in a 360-degree experience. Now, the other element that I mentioned just a moment ago was gaming. And that was another report that came out saying that Apple is going to lean more towards the gaming area, saying that they're going to have developers develop games for this for the App Store. They do have publishers. So we'll see how they pull this off. But there is one drawback that we're hearing. One of the biggest drawbacks, well, actually, there's two. Number one is that it will be using a battery pack. Now, that's not a drawback, but the capacity in the battery that we're hearing is reportedly 2 hours. Now, 2 hours, Uh, I mean, that could get you maybe one movie, and then you got to charge them. But they're saying that the battery pack that's in these goggles can be swapped and exchanged. You can swap them out. I don't know how Apple would do it. I don't see Apple doing anything like that. So I don't even know if that's true.
I don't see
But
Apple doing a swappable battery.
exactly, I don't know. I don't believe that. But what we're hearing is it's a 2 hour battery life, and to me, I don't. I mean, listen, it's a first gen product, but 2 hours is it's way too small. That could barely get you through probably the Lord of the Rings, barely.
Do you think if you're on Android, you're going to be able to use it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm hearing that it is locked in with iOS software. It'll be more integrated with iOS and Mac OS and all that. So it really just I don't think so.
It's kind of a bummer.
It really is because this is the same philosophy they did with the HomePods, but the only difference with the HomePods is that very slowly they're opening it up, very slowly, but not entirely. But for these products, it seems like what we're hearing is that this is just a step, a start for Apple. They really kind of want to make this a mainstream product. They want to take everything about VR and AR and make a product and then eventually get a product for the mass consumers.
Do not join.
Because we're hearing reports of $1,000. We're hearing reports 2,000. So this is not a product for a general person.
If
So
that thing is $1,000, there's not a chance in hell I'm buying that thing.
I agree. Listen, I'm not a big fan of VR AR headsets. Period. I never saw the appeal.
For me, it has to be around $300. That's all I would pay. That's what I paid for the Oculus. I wouldn't even go higher than that.
That's apparently what Apple wants to do. Apple, according to this report, they're saying is that because it will be so expensive, they kind of just want to use it as a start point to evolve the software, and then they'll find ways to cut corners to cut costs down. So it's basically like the Tesla philosophy when they started with the Model S, the Roadster, then they kind of built out the infrastructure and then launched the Model 3 and Model Y. So that's kind of what they're trying to do here is build out the infrastructure, use this as a tipping point. Anybody that gets it now is probably going to be a beta tester, even if it is a real product. But I'm talking way too much. I got to get your input. So you said $300 would be a price point that you'd buy in.
Yeah.
What would be the maximum? The max.
300.
So minimum, maximum.
I'm not
300.
going over 300. Yeah, for a first gen product from Apple that has augmented reality, which I can't stand anyway. So half of it, I'm already not excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't pay more than $300.
I agree. I was trying to find reasons to be hyped about this, but I don't use augmented reality even on my iPhone. I know they've been pushing it for 6 years now, but I just don't see the appeal. I don't see an application where in my personal life. Now I'm one person. I'm not the entire world, but it's clearly not for me. I'm not a guy that will go around and say, "Hey man, let's see something in virtual reality." I'm not that kind of person. So for me, it's not for me. But if Apple was to innovate in this space, to do something that the Oculus can't, there is a lot of potential here that they could do. One of the biggest things they could do is, adding in the implementation of software like using FaceTime or connecting to your iPhone to answer messages, photos, music,
I think
TV.
that'll be there anyway. But that doesn't appeal to me though.
But the thing is, the other thing that I would say also appeals to me is not really the gaming aspect, because I never play games on an iPhone. I've played a few, but I would go with the entertainment purposes, pairing with Apple TV. I would like to see what they could do with that.
You would be just watching a movie or a TV show with your headphones on.
Yeah, but I would like to see maybe if the goggles. I don't know if they're because they do this in movie theaters. I don't know if you've ever been to a Regal theater. They have something called Screen X, and Screen X is proprietary to Regal. Basically, it's like 3 screens stretched out. So you have one screen here, and then a bunch of screens in the corner that makes. So it makes up for the surfaces. So if a car or something action scene goes from one panel to the next, you'll see that car transition in real time without having it to cut away to another frame.
Yeah.
So if that's something that they do, I would be interested in that, because then it would really put you in the actual movie, something that, virtual reality, because virtual reality is not old technology here. They've been doing this since the 90s with, I don't know if you've heard of this, the Virtual Boy from Nintendo. I mean, that was a piece of garbage, but
Yeah.
it tried.
Yeah.
And
They've been working on it for a very long time. I mean, Apple's been working on their headset for a long ass time.
I could just tell you right now, I can't see one person walking out of their house with this thing on. I'm sorry. If I see one
No.
person, I swear I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put my hand in front and see if they were stopped either by the VR glasses or something in real life.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I can't see it. I'm not interested in this at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see and I understand. It's not you. It's just,
And but I said earlier, like I like VR headsets. Like I have a Quest and it's fun. I play it here and there, but I might play it once every 2 months. Like for
no,
me
yeah,
for
yeah.
me to buy another one that does something similar, it's pointless.
I don't know, man. I really don't know if, here, Raul has a question. What if Apple did with the cheaper HomePod, but with VR, AR in the future, with a cheaper version of it? I think that's what they're going to do eventually, but they have to start somewhere in order to build out that cheap process. But you know, the thing that I realize more is that Apple doesn't make cheap products. They don't. They just make.
No, they're a brand, they're a lifestyle brand. Like they make really nice products. Like all their stuff is extremely well built. It looks good. Like I have no problem with that. And we are paying an Apple tax on everything.
Yes.
It doesn't mean I'm going to buy their headset.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sorry, Apple. As much as I love talking about it, that's all it is, just talking about it.
Yeah.
I will not buy this thing unless there's something here that you can tell me why I need it. And they're the king of selling, but they haven't sold me in recent years like a need or a necessity, you know what I
No,
mean?
not
So,
even with the iPhone.
not even. Maybe with the USB-C on the iPhone that's one thing, but nah, I'm sorry. I'm not buying these headsets, especially for
No.
1,000 plus.
Yeah,
I don't care.
if it's more than 300, I won't even take a second look at it.
I don't even care if it's running the M series chip in it. I'm not buying it for
No.
1,000. Well, we'll see what happens when WWDC comes around the corner. But continuing with WWDC, let's talk about a few other products that are reportedly in the works that could see. One of the biggest things is a 15-inch MacBook Air, which is reportedly going to be featured alongside a brand new refresh of the MacBook Air. Essentially, it will, of course, come with an M2 chip, not an M2 Pro, which I think everybody kind of understood that. But there are reports saying that the M3 chip is reportedly going to start making its rounds, but apparently the 15-inch MacBook Air is going to debut with an M. And my counter to that is fine, let it be. I don't think we need to make M series MacBooks like iPhones. They're computers. They're completely different. And in regards to the 15-inch itself, this is where Apple falls into a trap. And I don't know if you've seen this, Digi, but they fall into a trap of just creating a lineup that they have so many MacBooks that you don't even know which ones you want or you don't want, or which ones even should be there to begin with.
Well,
And
I mean, they're all overpowered at this point. They're all powerful enough. Even last year's M1 computers are all fantastic computers, but they have to keep doing it every year. That's how they're going to sell them.
I mean, yes, you are right. They should do it every year, but there are certain products in their lineups that they're not doing this refresh to, like the iMacs or even the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini waited 2 years and got a refresh. I mean, you could argue that those aren't the best sellers, but recently the Mac Mini started to make up some market share. It seems like people are okay with a mini all-in kind of desktop. But my issue is that these computers, like you said, they're overpowered. For the general person, there's so much power in these computers that nobody is taking advantage of unless you're a
Yeah.
content creator. And for me, a 15-inch MacBook Air does sound nice. I do like the fact that you now have two options. But, now you have to ask the question, what's the point of the cheaper 13-inch MacBook Pro? what is the point now of the M1 MacBook Air still being in the lineup? There's no savings or anything. So I think that the MacBook Pro with the M2 Pro should be discontinued. Not the new one, not the 14-inch, the 13-inch. They should get rid of that, get rid of the M1 MacBook Air, and let these models be the filler. You have a 13 and a 15. The 13 could be the cheap one. 15-inch could be the little bit more expensive one. And then you just kind of make your lineup a little bit more condensed. MacBook, MacBook Pro. Nothing else in between. Also,
Yeah, but
shout out to Latrell.
you know why they'll never get rid of the 13-inch? Because schools buy them.
A lot of schools are buying.
Students buy them. Schools buy them. They buy them in bulk. Like, they're not buying the 15-inch and the 16-inch.
Well, people are buying the M1 MacBook Air. They're buying that machine because Apple discontinued that price to $899 now. So, I mean, you could argue that the 13-inch, it has a fan and schools are buying it. Also, Latrell, shout out. He goes, wait, schools are buying what?
Latrell, what's up?
Shout out to Latrell. We got to get you back on the show, Latrell. No, like I'll be honest though, I haven't seen a school buy MacBooks. I've seen them buy iMacs in bulks, but I haven't seen them buy MacBooks. They mostly buy like Chromebooks and other things because they're cheaper.
Definitely not buying iMacs anymore.
Very few, at least Tottenville, where I used to go to, Tottenville High School, they still carry the Macs. So
iMacs are my favorite computer from Apple. That's what I'm using right now.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. It's funny. I bought my mom an iMac and she loves it. So I don't think she's gonna go back to Windows anytime soon. As for my whole setup down here, I still rock my MacBook Pro, but my days of carrying a laptop are starting to dwindle down. I'm finishing up with school, going for my master's, and there's really no need for me to take a laptop when I have an iPad Pro. So my next computer will probably be either a Mac Studio or an iMac Pro if they ever make one.
Yeah, I want a Mac Studio, man.
It's a great machine. And that was actually something I covered, that Apple is working on a new Mac Studio, but it looks like that will have a 2-year release cycle.
Yeah, that'll be the M3.
The M3, I think they're going to just do the Max chip. I don't think they're going to do Ultra because they're probably going to save that for the Mac Pro.
Yep.
But that's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I would not be mad if it was just the M2 Max. But anyway, back to WWDC. I know we're talking a lot about products, but that's really where all the hype is. But remember, if you're going into an Apple event, set your expectations to low. But anyway, let's really talk about the software. iOS 17, iPadOS, macOS, all the good stuff. The only software here that anybody cares about, and let's be honest here, it's only two: iPadOS and iOS. macOS, maybe here and there. watchOS, everyone's like, it can't really get any better. tvOS is tvOS, and if the AR, VR headsets are going to set a new software system, we'll have to wait and see. But I want to ask you, for iOS 17, there are reports saying that sideloading is coming.
No way.
Apple,
not a chance.
I wanted to ask you, do you think Apple will do it, or do you
Nope.
think you don't think they'll do it?
Nope, no chance. They want full control. They're not going to allow that. They won't allow that.
I got to be honest. I want to believe you, but something in the back of my head is telling me no. I'm not saying because that they will do it or won't do it. I think it's because the EU and everything that they've done with making them, they've made Apple become less Apple with the implementation of the USB-C on iPhones, because Apple was never going to put USB-C on an iPhone. They were doing everything in their power to pivot away and go in on MagSafe. But then the EU hits them with this, proposition. You've got to make one charger for less e-waste and all that stuff, and then putting in so many things so they don't have any lines to cross. They basically grabbed Apple and said, you got to put that port on. And Apple said, okay, we're going to comply.
That's true, but they can't do that for side loading.
It's true. It is true. But at least according to the EU, the agreement is that they should allow the users the option, not giving them like a mandate, like forcing them. You should give them the option. So I don't know exactly if Apple will do it. They probably won't, but eventually something's going to happen, because sideloading, Apple went on a huge campaign against sideloading.
There's no way that's happening. I would guarantee that.
If they did that, I'm gonna say it right now. If Apple was to allow side loading on iOS or iPad OS, Technoid will happily, and I say this happily, will happily shave my eyebrows, just like John Prosser. The only difference is that I will do it live on camera after WWDC. So mark this video, timestamp it, do what you want. You heard it first. John, don't kill me if I'm stealing your idea, but I don't think it will happen. I'm with you. But if it does, then I will say goodbye. But anyway, moving past iOS 17, Mac OS, and iPad OS. Mainly iPad OS. You know, there's really not much to say about iPad OS because,
Nope.
it's the same story with it every year. Overpowered tablet, lackluster software.
Yeah, every year.
Every year. The only thing that would make me excited was if they somehow opened up iPad OS and took advantage of that real hardware that's in those tablets.
I might buy, and I've had, like every iPad ever made, and I sell them immediately. Like I'll use it for a month and then I'll sell it because it's pointless just to have it. It doesn't do what it should be able to do.
Yeah, it's a sin because the iPad Pro is a great tablet. The iPad Mini is a great tablet. All the iPads are great. There's
iPad
not one.
Air is great. They're all good. Yeah,
They're all great. It's just that the experience is just so lackluster.
Yeah, it's boring. It's just boring. You should be able to do so much more. They should make it have pro apps on there, put Final Cut Pro on there, put all of the good apps on there, and then I would probably use that all the time.
If they did that, that would be amazing. They slowly are adding pro apps. It's just, I think my theory, the reason they're not putting Final Cut Pro is because of the main reason that makes macOS exclusivity. I feel like if they give Final Cut Pro to iPad Pros, nobody would buy MacBooks. But that's not a really good argument. I know it's just a theory, but even then, it's not a good argument because you could still get a MacBook and get a better version, a better experience. If you use iMovie on iPad Pro, you'll know it's night and day.
Latrell's right. It's underutilized.
It is. Because if you go on Apple's website right now, if you go on their website and you go to iPad, you look at their lineup, they got some great tablets. But I would be one here to tell you, just get the cheap iPad and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's the same experience on every single iPad.
The only iPad that had potential was the Mini. And I actually have the Mini. It's a great little mini tablet you take with you, but it's almost like your iPhone. So there's really no point in buying that.
Yeah.
Then you get the iPad Air, which is sort of a pro machine, but not a pro machine. And then, of course, the big baddie is the iPad Pro. So, at the end of the day, it really comes down to what you need. And, oh, my goodness, M2. Never forget when they did that refresh. Nobody cared. No. Not one person cared.
Because it doesn't matter. The M1s and even before that, they're already just way overpowered for what they can do.
Yeah. And this is actually something that I think they're going to start doing. They're going to start transitioning their tablets to landscape. I think that's the way everything is going now. So we're probably going to see that get phased into new iPads coming soon. But yeah, man. And then if you actually go into iPad OS, if you actually really go in and you look at what they say about this, they go, iPad OS 16 gives you powerful new ways to do more than ever. Share and communicate with the people who matter. Level up your productivity. Apps all across the system are more intuitive, more customizable, and more capable, just like your iPhone.
So that means we could FaceTime with people.
Ugh,
That's all it is. We could FaceTime.
It's literally exactly. And it's such a buzzkill because iPad is such a great device, but we'll see.
It's become so boring, though.
It has. As in regards to Mac OS and Watch OS and TV OS, I've never been a big fan of those software updates because they work just fine, especially Watch OS. But other than that, like I said, the only two softwares right now that everybody cares about is iPad OS and iOS. And for iOS 17, I'm hoping they give you the option to refresh or change up something. Because it has been so boring seeing that same design for almost 11 years. I mean, it's the same design from iOS to iOS 6, but At least iOS 7 revamped it up, added new icons, made it feel different in some ways. Everything just feels too the same. And I know the argument is simplicity and all that, but they got to change it
It
up.
gets boring. It definitely gets boring, and that's
They
how
got
I
to.
feel with Apple. I was an Apple fanboy for the longest time. I am no longer that person. I'm using Android, except for my computers.
Hmm.
But I just it's become the most boring thing. They're still nice, they're still powerful, but they're just it's the same experience. I can take an Apple Watch or an iPad or an iPhone and go back 6, 7 years and get the exact same experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows you that there isn't much left, except just give people what they want and give them a new design. Listen, they did the whole home screen refresh. That was cool. That was different, but it wasn't enough to say it was a revamp. At least if you allow people to change the icons to make them, you know, I would even take this. I would allow people to change the icons to allow them to be like skeuomorphism, like they did back with iOS 4 and iOS 5 with the three-dimensional, kind of like what they're doing with Mac OS. At least you give people the option to make something feel new or at least look something new. That's just me.
Well, I mean, I hope you're right. I hope they do that. It would make it a little more exciting.
It would. Absolutely would. And shout out to Max, because Max has given a lot of information in the chat. I appreciate you, Max, joining in. Thank you, my man. But lastly, to talk about, and then we'll wrap up the show. Didn't really have much else to talk about. The last thing to talk about, besides WWDC, the last thing is reportedly at WWDC, they're reportedly saying that we're going to see, from what I understand, a glimpse at the Mac Pro, that apparently the Mac Pro will not be at WWDC, but that they will announce it. And then they'll later announce the release date, the pre order dates. I know a lot of people are really excited for this machine. I know there is a lot of people asking for it. But I have to ask this question: are you the same people that are going to buy this machine? Or are you just asking for it because Apple hasn't released it? Because, listen, I'll never get a Mac Pro. That's not for me. The cheese grater is not for me. But it is a powerful machine. Corporation, enterprises, everybody uses it. But can I ask, like, why so many people are asking about this machine?
Well, I think it's all techies, all people or people in the space, like creators in general. I mean, that's who it's for. It's for people that do this for a living.
You know, I get it. But the thing that's bothering me is that they're acting like they're going to buy this machine.
I
They're
mean,
they're saying they are going to buy it, but then it's people. Exactly. Latrell just literally just took the words right out of my
yeah.
mouth. Literally just took the words right out of my mouth. It's all people that want to be Jonathan Moore. Exactly.
But there are a
Listen,
lot of people that are Jonathan Morrison types,
and
like,
I'm
not
and
just on
I'm
YouTube,
sure.
just creators or people in the movie industry or people that
Oh
just
yeah,
do
yeah,
video
yeah, yeah.
editing
That
for a living. Like, there's a ton of people like that.
that's perfectly fine. I don't argue that. I'm talking about just general people talking about this machine, like the average Joe, like me, you,
Well,
average everyday
yeah, I
people.
would love to get it, but it's out of my price range. There's not a chance.
Oh yeah. And for me, me personally, I can get a Mac Studio, and that would literally be more than enough power
You
for
can
me.
buy an M1 Mac Mini, and it would do the job for what we do on YouTube.
Isn't that crazy that the M1 Mac Mini can outperform probably like 90% of Intel CPUs nowadays?
I'm still using an Intel i9.
Ooh, I actually have not used an i9. How's an i9 been?
It's a beast still. It's I'm sure the M1s are better, but I have no for what I do, 10-minute videos on earbuds and headphones, the i9, it's still a beast.
Me, I had, before I got the M1 Pro, I had the i7 KB Lake processor, the 2017 model,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was a phenomenal machine. But then as age, takes everything, I found that the Intel models age really bad with Macs. And it's not really Apple's fault. It's just, well, actually, no, it was Apple's fault because the MacBook Pro at that time had the worst cooling system in a Mac. It really did. It had a terrible cooling system. But to be fair, the i9 models I've heard are actually doing very good. So I don't know anyone that has a MacBook with an i9. You
Yeah,
haven't.
mine's the iMac
So
with the
yours the iMac. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you would be the first one I know. So I'm just telling you right now, you're the only person I know. So I'm
yeah.
gonna come to you and ask you how it's doing
I
from
love it.
time to
I mean,
time.
I'm sure at some point I'll trade it in. They're still giving me like $700 to trade it in. 650, I think was the last one they had. So I can trade that in for a Mac Mini now.
You know, that's actually not bad considering all things. That's actually a really not bad at all.
Yeah, the 14-inch MacBook Pro is a nice
Mhm.
size.
Well, before we wrap up the show, before we finish everything off, just kind of want to get your final thoughts on everything for WWDC. Anything you want to talk about? Anything that you're looking forward to? You can
Yeah,
have the floor. Final thoughts.
AirPods Max all day. I want I want the next generation, whether it's Gen 2 or the rumored sports AirPod Max that they were rumored about when those dropped. I would love to get another pair of
You
those.
see, this is why I love bringing you on because you know just as much as you, me and you, that's our flow is the audio, obviously.
Yeah.
And for me, I still use these every day. The only reason I'm not using them tonight is because I got my AirPods. But there is reportedly going to be an AirPods model releasing at WWDC, not a new one. It'll just be the AirPod Pro 2s with a USB-C charging case. So nothing special there.
Yeah.
But in regards to the AirPods Max, there is reports saying that we will see this probably toward the end of the year into 2023 because Apple reportedly is going to be refreshing the Max at a 3-year release cycle. So it seems like they can support it for 3-4 years and then you just get the new model.
I just need it to be a little cheaper than what they dropped the originals for. The originals were
I
good, but they were overpriced by
Yeah,
$180.
I think they will lower the price. I think they're going to. As for the sports one, I haven't heard anything about it since.
No, I've been
Haven't heard
looking
it.
too. There's nothing.
I don't know if Apple will make that one. I think they'll probably just give it to Beats. They'll probably let Beats do the
Which
Studio
is fine
4.
because the Beats products, now that Apple has them, the Studio Buds Pro and the Studio Buds are fantastic. The Beats makes really good audio products now because it's not the
They
old
are.
Beats. Yeah,
They
they've
are
been great.
absolutely. You know, it's funny you mentioned that because there are new Studio Buds on the way. They're Studio Buds Plus. They were filed in with the FCC. I covered the leak. It got leaked in iOS 16.4. And the one thing that everybody is clamoring for is, a new solos and studios. Me, I'll be the first one to tell you, I love the studio headphones. I love taking them to the gym. They were my go-to workout headphones for so many years, and then they never released a new one.
Yeah, I still have the Studio 3s. I still rock them at my job. I have them. I've had them for years there.
They are great. Like, a lot of people still think Beats are Beats, but they're not. And you're absolutely right. Beats are not the same anymore. They
Well, no,
got an overhaul.
new Beats are basically it's just Apple. New Beats are
It
Apple.
is. New Beats. And we had this discussion a long time ago. You said between the AirPods and the Beats Fit Pro and between other Beats headphones in comparison, the best sounding Apple headphones were the Beats because they sound the best out of the two. And I agree
Beats
with
Fit
you.
Pro are absolutely worth the price tag. But I will say this, since then, AirPods Pro 2 are fantastic.
Yeah.
And for open earbuds, AirPods 3 are really good too.
It's weird because I never liked open AirPods. I've always had an issue with them. I think that's with everyone. It's a one size fit all. The originals fit my ears better, but I think they're going to go with this new design, the third generation one. So I don't think we're ever going to see the old one again. But
Yeah, there's no reason to go back. And I like the AirPods 3 and they're comfortable. They're good. They sound good for what they are.
they do. They do have better drivers. But for me, I'm just going to keep the AirPod Pros. I like having the ear tips. I think for me, that makes the biggest difference. And let's be honest here, the AirPod Pro 2 case is a versatile, you know, the
You
fact
gotta
that it has
try
a
it. If you like those, you need to go get the Nothing Ear too.
that is, it's funny you say that because that's going to be my next review. When I get back into reviewing earbuds, that is my next review.
Them things are
I
so good.
Let me ask you this question before we end the show. Between the Nothing Ear 2 and AirPod Pro 2s, if you had to pick one that you can listen to forever, between the two of them, right now, which one would you pick?
Taking a Nothings. I'm going Nothing Ear too. They've already replaced my AirPods Pro 2 for the gym.
Wow.
Already replaced them. I don't even touch my AirPod Pro 2s anymore.
Now you got me interested. Real quickly, thank you for coming in. We were talking about a lot about WWDC. We were talking a little bit about AirPods and audio as you see we're going in. But we're about to wrap up the show now, but you can watch it on replay so you can watch what we were talking about. But yeah, that will be my next review. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Oh my goodness, Littrell knows how to get you going. He knows what's going.
Yeah, he's got his Galaxy Buds Plus paired with his original Galaxy Fold.
Listen,
He's still
I
using
miss
that
the
thing.
old Galaxy Buds. I miss them. I'm gonna be honest. I miss the
Why?
old Galaxy Buds. I
They had
miss
great
having
battery
the ear,
life. They were all
the
right.
battery
They were-
life, the ear hooks, the ear tips were better for me. Like they were more customizable. The
But
new.
they're
I just did a review the other day where I reviewed the Galaxy Bud 2 Pros, and while they are absolutely excellent, they're very good sounding. They don't fit my ear as well. I had to get memory foam, and I just miss having that customization.
yeah, that little clip that goes into the ear, that's like the Beats Studio Buds Pro. They have that little clip on there. If you work
The
out,
thing is
perfect.
thing is with the fit, it's an actual piece of rubber that goes in.
Yeah,
Whereas the
that's what,
studio,
yeah.
but these ones they're so small. I mean, maybe if you have a little bit smaller ears, maybe they'll hook in. But I wish they would bring back the customization of the earbuds. I miss that. Just having ear hooks so you can get a good seal. That's just me. I miss having that.
They are good. They are good when they do come with that. It's a nice option to have, for sure.
But the Buds Plus, the one good thing I'll say about the Buds Plus, I know you don't like them, or at least I know you don't love them as much
They're
as me and
No, I
Latrell.
don't love them. Like, I went back because of Latrell, I specifically went back and got another pair and did another review on them because I think my first review, I trashed them.
I
But
watched that one. Yes, you did.
yeah, I was also an Apple fanboy back then too. And
Yes.
now that's not the case. So I bought a new pair, or I think I got a new pair with a phone or something. And I went back and I reviewed the blue ones again. And I totally changed my tune on them.
I will give them very big props, the Buds Plus, because the Buds Plus started a trend. I mean, you could argue that Soundcore did it before with the Astria coaxial acoustic chamber, whatever. But Galaxy Buds Plus started the whole trend of two-way drivers in big name brands, having separation, having more clarity, detail in your audio. Because now we look at companies like One More. We look at companies like Soundcore embracing adding newer drivers, new technology. I mean, Soundcore started with that, but when it
Oh, yeah.
comes to
There are so many damn companies out there that are doing big things in the audio space for earbuds and headphones. Like you just said, One More. You got Earfun. You have Soundcore, of course. I mean, so many.
I got hit up in the comments, and I just want to kind of clarify this, and maybe you can also back me on this. Somebody tried to call me out, and I normally don't care. I'm not offended. If anybody wants to believe what they want to believe, that's fine. But somebody reached out and they said, "Listen, man, not for nothing, but all you review is Soundcore products. You don't review anything else. You know, it looks like you're almost kind of being bought by them." And that was a notion that when I was starting out in my YouTube channel, that was something that I tried so hard not to be. That now that I'm finally at a point where I'm not a big YouTuber, but I have some recognition, you're going to start hearing that. And I just wanted to put this out there and I just want to clarify something. This is the only time you're going to hear me say this. Anything that I do on my channel, I do because I want to do it. No company, nobody sends me anything. The only time they send me anything, I will disclaim it and I make sure that I can say what I want to say and nobody tells me what to say. If they have to have a say, I don't do the video. But if they let me say what I want to say, I do the video. So I just think, okay, did that come out wrong? Did I say if they don't allow me to say something, I don't do the video?
You're
And
good.
then
I
if
think
something,
everybody understood. I think everybody understood.
okay, just to clarify, if they tell me I can't say something or A, B, and C, I do not make that video for them, and I don't take anything.
Even if a company sends you a product, they have no right to say what you say in your video. That's a paid sponsored video. That's something else. But just a company sending you something, you can say whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. You know how many times I've been hit up by companies that has sent me something that asked me to take down the video because I was too critical of it, and it's never happened. Well, I've never taken a video down ever.
Yeah, and I will tell everyone that Soundcore doesn't send me anything. You know, I joke around here and there about the motion. I joke around about products, but at the end of the day, they don't send me anything. I do my own videos. I do my reviews. If I'm lucky enough to get sent anything, that's because I worked hard for it. I didn't beg them. I didn't do anything. And the reason I review Soundcore products, the main reason I do is because of one reason. One reason only. I'm a huge fan of their products. So
Yeah, Soundcore makes
that's
great products, man. Soundcore is my favorite audio company in the game right now.
literally,
Hands down.
look. If I didn't love them that much, would I buy this big ass giant monster?
Yeah.
Would I?
Every product, they have a hit. Every single product, they have a hit.
No, of course. And listen, I appreciate everybody that watches my videos. If you got something nice to say, thank you. If you got nothing nice to say, I still appreciate you coming. But I'm going to close with saying this. Whatever I do on my channel, I do it because I want to do it. Nobody's paying me. Nobody's telling me what to say. And if they ever did, I'll let you guys know first. I would never let anybody influence what I do.
Don't worry about where'd that dude comment on Twitter or something? Or in a video?
On one of my speaker reviews.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. You're gonna find those haters all the time, especially as you keep growing and growing. You're gonna get those comments. Just say thanks for watching and move on.
And you know, he actually turned out to be a really nice guy because then we started actually having a convo together, and then he actually turned out to be nice. I just don't know why he jumped to that conclusion so fast. But I will say, you know, I fought to be against that when I was starting out. So I'm still going to be that way. I mean, I'm taking the long way approach. I'll slowly get to 10,000, maybe 5,000, but I am going to do things my way. And if any company wants to work with me, if any company believes in me, I'm happy to bring them on, and I'll let you guys know. And last thing, I know I said that like 5 times, but this is truly the last thing. If you're not making enemies, you're not living up to your full potential. That's a quote a very good man once told me.
Yeah, you're gonna as you grow and climb the mountain, there's gonna be haters along the way.
There you go, man. All right. With that being said, we are going to wrap it up. All right, guys. So you know the drill. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all being here tonight. I really appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you, Digital Slang. Thank you, my man. The next time you come on, I promise you, it will be a 100% audio dedicated podcast. We could talk headphones. We could talk.
Bro, I like tech. It doesn't matter. Tech is. We can talk cell phones, anything. As long as it's tech, I'm there.
Sounds good to me, my man. Alrighty, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you all for watching live. I appreciate your support. Hashtag replay crew. Like, comment, share. Love you guys. Have a good night and